systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday, happy Friday, happy Saturday, happy whenever you listen to the show. And I will say from the top, you probably are not listening on Saturday, or if you are, you probably will be disappointed because 3 a.m. Eastern start time Saturday morning, the UFC is headed over to China. And you can see we are sharing the stone like we always do over here. This will all be filled out, ownership, projections, etc. The members color-coded as well, MMA The Stone. As you can see, though, we have a lot of names that I'm absolutely going to butcher. That is when you know it is a 3 a.m. card. They will be butchered. You guys will know who we're talking about. We're going to go bottom to the top like always. How are we doing, though, Big Marley?
Man, we're doing I don't know if I even want to wake up at 3 o'clock. I don't know how many lineups I'm going to have for this card. I actually did my research like 2 or 3 days ago, 2 and 3 days ago. And right before we got on, I was doing ownership, and I'm like, which one is this guy? Which one is this? So I need pictures. I have pictures up to remind me of who is who, but it's kind of starting to fade on me. This is like the toughest card of all time because I don't even remember who's who, who's good at what. This is gonna be a tough one.
Absolutely. I will say, though, it's a great DFS card. There's no doubt about that. Prizes are a little smaller than usual because it is 3 a.m. I will be getting up, no doubt about that. Me and the boys. Hey, right away, I want to shout out my man, Siggy. Last week, shout out Big Marley. Big Marley wins $10,000 qualifier seat. I'm not going to take any credit. It was Big Marley, but you tweeted it out, Chippa Nation. We were over the news. Siggy texted me again. I'm not taking any credit. That's a buddy that was over it. Nothing was announced that the fight, Eric Anders' fight, was going to be off, but saw a couple reports trickling in. I tagged the Discord. I said, I don't know what's going on. I was driving. I lost my connection. I couldn't even swap. I was tilted. Global swap. A lot of people learned about that. I know Big Marley did that. Hoop did that. We were all over the news. I heard other people weren't. I'm not sure. Ownership-wise, though, Weidman still got a lot. Anders still got some. A huge leg up. And again, shout out to our man, Big Marley, last week. Got himself a qualifier seat. Needed John Jones at the end. I saw you. I was sweating with you. John Jones, your boy, got the job done. I will say, actually, I want to ask you, Tom Aspinall, John Jones, who wins?
I mean, I'll say John Jones because he's the greatest of all time. But if anyone's going to beat John Jones, it's Tom Aspinall. So I think he's super live.
John looks a little slow, man. I think Tom pieces him up, knocks him out. But anytime I think that John Jones or whoever the GOATs or the greatest try and bet against, they always prove you wrong. But man, I don't know. Tom Aspinall, I think, for me, when we get to that fight, hopefully we get that fight, will be my pick. But Tom or John's not on the card. In terms of this one, though, again, I think it's a great DFS card. 13 fights. Fingers crossed we keep all 13. Pricing is very fair. Ownership, again, this will be up. You have to be a member at SHIPIT Nation. Ownership is very important on this site or on the MMA in general. Nobody above 50%. We have Peter Yan, the highest at 47% in the main event. I do think ownership spread out. That's good. 13 fights is good. One favorite, big boy favorite, big girl favorite, I should say, minus 900. Otherwise, no one else above minus 450. Great DFS card, in my opinion. I think play who you think's going to win and score well. Can leave a little money. I think there's $0 lineups that will also be good. Clear leverage spots, low owned plays that we can attack on this card. Any initial thoughts? I see you have your fight rankings up, your stars. Otherwise, we can get right into it and go bottom to top.
Yeah, I kind of think it's more of a like stars and scrubs type of week. A lot of people will be going around that 9K range and then targeting the 5-round fight. But it's just a tough one. I need you to kind of refresh my memory as we go along. But congrats to Sean Sullivan on 50K the other night. Right? Was it last night?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday. Congrats, man. That's huge.
Yeah, shout out Sean Sullivan. Always supporting Sean. Awesome stuff. NBA's going on right now. NFL's going on. No better time. Get over SHIPIT Nation. Let's talk some fights again. I'm going to butcher every single name. You do not need to tell me in the comments. We are going to go bottom to top so you can figure out who I'm talking about. And a lot of times, like when we get to this next fight, I'm going to say Long. I'm going to say Quang. You guys can figure it out from there. But let's start first fight of the night. Mahate taking on Nicholas Moda. Minus 190 is Mahate. Plus 165 is Nicholas Moda. I did want to mention, of the 13 fights, only 4 are expected to finish. This is one of them, minus 250 to finish. I also want to point out, like always, I put these in Tuesday, these initial odds. I do like for myself, comparing the initial odds or the current odds that I'm reading right now versus what it was Tuesday to track that kind of line movement. The most significant line movement is the week of the fights. That's when most people do look at them. And then I'll update it tomorrow morning. So as you can see, minus 200, the fight was supposed to finish Tuesday. Now minus 250. People like the under. That makes me like it more for DFS. Fair price tags on both sides. Mahate minus 120 inside the distance. Nicholas Moda plus 310. I'll say right from the get-go, I like this fight a lot. I'm going to play a lot of it. It is striker versus striker, though. As you can see on the stone, no takedowns. So if it goes to decision, it probably doesn't get there. Favored to finish, though. Again, not many favored finishes on the card. Last thing that stands out on the stone, 7-year age difference for Mahate, 3 inches in height for Mahate. Take it away. What do you see?
Yeah, striker versus striker matchup. I don't really see either one of these guys shooting for takedowns. They're live if they get the knockout in the first or second round. Third round, probably a little bit too late. Even Moda, because Moda's just not high volume at all. He's super low volume. He's got heavy hands and he throws some bombs. So he is live for the knockout, but I just think Mahate is the better overall boxer. Probably more durable. I trust him a little bit more at this point. I think he's going to be a little higher volume as well. So I'm picking Mahate to get the win, but I got it as a 3-star there because of the whole knockout or bust. I'd rather target fights that have more grappling upside. But I'm fine throwing either one of these guys in my lineups. I doubt it'll end up in my single entry, but if I was like, I don't know, 10 to 30% on either side, I'd probably be cool with that.
I'm with you. I'm with you, but I like to fight more than you. I'd probably do a 4-star. My preferred side actually is Mahate because I think there's plenty of live dogs on this card. I'm just picking Mahate to win. I think he's more durable. I think that's what it comes down at the end of the day. Both guys have power, but I'll take Mahate's big dome and his chin over Moda, who's been cracked, I think 4 or 5 times he's been knocked out. But again, I'm not 100% on this fight. I'm not actually making a rule to have 100% of any fight, assuming we do keep all 13. And the reason for that in this one, again, primary strikers, both of them pretty low volume so far. If they respect each other's power and it goes to the distance or just the third round, it probably doesn't get there. But yeah, I'm in on this fight, no doubt. I do like to see 50 cents on the under as well. Let's keep it rolling. Going to get into some of these names that I'm absolutely going to butcher. Again, I'm keeping it easy, though. We got Long taking on Quang. Minus 146 is Long. Plus 126 is Quang. Plus 140 for this fight to finish. Long plus 270 inside the distance. Quang plus 350. Take it away. What do you see?
Yes, one I'm not too sure about. I don't even have a real lean in this one. I think Quang is the better overall wrestler. I kind of like Long just to be the more exciting, more active fighter. I think from my memory, I feel like he's decent everywhere. I don't know if he's not really good like anywhere, but I feel like he could beat Quang on the feet, whether it be a knockout or a 15-minute striking match. We probably need the knockout, though, or grappling for him to have any real upside, though. And I just don't know what kind of game plan he's going to come with, honestly. And then Quang, if he wins, I would imagine there's a takedown or a few takedowns along the way. He could keep top control for a while. I'm just fine with either side of this fight. It's kind of like the last one. Just give me either guy, but I'm not going to force it into lineups. I just have no idea how this one's going to play out. I was more impressed, or I guess I enjoyed Long's fights more, so I picked him as the winner, but no real lean. I'd probably prefer the plus money side either way if I were to bet it.
Yeah, I don't have a strong lean on this one too. And I'll admit, like a lot of these road to UFC fights, I was kind of going to try and lean on you. I'm leaning on props. Like we've seen long fight. Quang made his UFC debut against Chris Gutierrez on short notice. He only landed 16 strikes. That's not good at all. Yes, Chris Gutierrez is tough, though. He made it all 15 minutes. Gutierrez is way better than Long. Quang did get 2 takedowns, which you do like to see there. But Long can get some takedowns himself, as you see 1 takedown per 15 minutes. The volume's fine. I think the volume's just better than Quang, which is why I'm leaning that side. And I also like to see, again, looking at the stone, minus 122 on Tuesday, now minus 146. I value that 20 cents, especially in fights that I'm really close on. I definitely do value that. But what I will say, in a lot of my Quang lineups, I will probably be leaving 200 plus right there, easy pivot. And that's a way to eliminate dupes. Just build a Long team, drop Long down to Quang. That'll get you a little different right there. So not much more to add. But again, I agree with 3-star right there. Like I like the Mahate fight more. But a lot of these fights coming up, these road to UFC fights and stuff, a lot of 3-stars for me on this card. But the thing is, we need 6 winners on the optimal ownership. No one over 50% we have right now, and 13 fights. So I think this is very well a card that could have under 5 dupes, and that always excites me more. So I'll be up at 1 a.m. my time. I will be playing some tournaments, and I'm excited to hopefully make some cheese. Let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, we got Kavanaugh taking on Jose Ocha. Kanye, or how do you pronounce his name again? Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh? Kavanaugh sounds right to me. So Kavanaugh taking on Ocha, minus 140.
Kavanaugh is what I would have thought.
Kavanaugh, minus 165, plus 290 on the Ocha side. Minus 140 for this fight to finish. Kavanaugh plus 130. Ocha plus 365. What stands out to me right away in this one, Big Marley, Ocha's the only one who has not had like a road to UFC fight, has not had a contender series fight, just making his UFC debut. Both of these guys, 7-0, 25 years old for Kavanaugh, 23 for Ocha. Kavanaugh did take the Dana White contender series approach, which is why I do think the line is where it's at. Ocha's fought some bums. He will be 3 inches bigger, though. I could not find a reach advantage, but he looks to be big for the division. And watching the tape, again, the opponents are not good, so it's hard to put much stock into it. He seems just like a brawler, though. Like, he's willing to fight. He's going to fight for your money. Young kid. Looks like he could take some shots. I'm expecting a banger in this one. I'm going to play Kavanaugh, no doubt about that. He's expensive. He's a fair price tag. The fight's supposed to finish. Plus 130 is good. But I do think Ocha's actually probably my preferred play because any win could be optimal. This line feels wide because there's a lot of unknowns on the Ocha side. So, yeah, tell me how you see it. Do you see it the same?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. This is my second favorite fight on the card, probably. I think both these guys are pretty good. Kavanaugh, I'd say he's got more one-punch power. He's probably just the more overall technical striker. I'd say he's the better wrestler. But Ochoa I thought he was good everywhere, and he's exciting, man. He brings it every single fight. He's coming forward right away, full action. So I think that's going to help the Kavanaugh side as well. Otherwise, I think Ochoa is super live to just beat him on volume, just outwork him over the course of 3 rounds. Ochoa hasn't even been to a decision yet, but I think that's live if it goes the distance. But either one of these guys could get a finish. Ochoa is probably a little bit more reckless and more likely to get caught, but maybe his aggressiveness will be too much for Kavanaugh. So I just like both sides of this fight. I thought the line was a little bit too wide, so I leaned with Ochoa in this one. I'll be higher on him.
I like it. 2 for 2. I'm definitely on the Ochoa side too. I plan on having more. I'm going to play some Kavanaugh too. I think it's a fun fight, but yeah, at this price tag, the odds feel disrespectful. And again, Kavanaugh's fought the better competition and is still undefeated while Ocha has fought bad competition, but I'll embrace the unknowns. We see these last week. Yantop, Junkyard Dog, man. 8 big shots, absolutely put it on. Hoofy. Hoofy still got the win, but he didn't look minus 900, minus 1100, whatever he closed at. So hoping a similar performance for Ocha. Let's keep it rolling to the next fight on the card. we have Carlos Hernandez taking on Tumen Barrel. Absolutely butchered the name. You guys get who I'm talking about. I do not know how many letters is in that name. It is way more than I'm saying. Tumen is what we're going to go with, as I wrote in the slate plan. That's all you got for me. But Hernandez minus 183. Tumen plus 158. Plus 110 for this fight to finish. We have both. Actually, take that back. Tum is plus 250 to finish. Hernandez is plus 285. So looking at the stone, plus 120. This fight was Tuesday to finish. Now it's plus 110. So money came in on the under a little bit. Both Carlos Hernandez and Tom have bet on the under a bit as well. My initial thought was Carlos Hernandez at 8,600 is too expensive. But I actually think I'm going to, and I was not going to really get any. I might keep him in my pool now. He can be a junkyard dog. He has the UFC experience. Finishing prop has got a lot better, plus 285 now. So, yeah, I actually have a little more interest in this fight than I thought. Tom is still my preferred side, though, for the 1K savings. I do think he has the wrestling, grappling upside, as we can see in the stone. But how do you see this fight?
Yeah, Tum Tum over here, he is he's my pick, but it's kind of just like I haven't seen enough of him to see the flaws. He's still kind of green. He's young in his career, but I think he's like 8-0. And he's aggressive, man. He's another one where on the feet he was super aggressive, swinging bombs, high volume, and then he could shoot takedowns. He looked like a pretty decent wrestler and grappler as well. So he's my preferred play. I think he just has more upside. I think he's probably our better wrestler. More likely to shoot, just the higher volume striker as well. So I would rather have my money on the $1,000 less of a salary. And then Hernandez, 8,600. I really don't want any Hernandez, but if I'm going to end up high on Tum Tum, then I think I want a little bit of hedge money on Hernandez, just in case like 40% of my lineups are dead with that guy. So I don't really see Hernandez like. From what I saw, I don't see him being better. I don't know, anywhere, I guess, at least early in the fight, but maybe he could tire this guy out and then put it on him late. He's got some decent volume himself when he wants to. He can mix in some takedowns. So I'm not against Hernandez, but I just like to pay up a little bit more for the 9K range instead.
Yeah, I'm coming around to Hernandez a bit. So we have his ownership at 19%. Let's say that. He's plus 285 to finish. That equals 26% probability. 8,600, you tell me Carlos Hernandez gets a finish, I'd want to be overweight. So yeah, I'm actually going to reverse a little bit. I still prefer Tum Tum as my preferred play. Again, he's plus 250 and he's cheaper. But Hernandez is lower owned, and I do think Tum Tum will be higher owned, and we do have that as well. So Hernandez is a clear direct leverage play on this slate. I wouldn't be surprised if Hernandez was like 15%, Tum Tum was 25 or something like that. I keep saying Tum Tum. I keep seeing you smile every time. But, yeah, people know who we're talking about. No disrespect, of course. I'm not going to try and butcher that name every single time I say it. Yeah. I have a little more interest in Hernandez than I initially thought. Do think this fight, Hernandez side low owned, Tum Tum gets some ownership. Keep it going to another fight on the card, and this is where we get to the first of three road to UFC championship fights. So this fight right here, this next fight, Choy, and then you fight. All three of these road to UFCs. So they're not currently in the UFC. They're still going to be scored the exact same as normal. Just expect lower level competition, a skill gap difference for the most part. But as you can notice as well, before we get into it, all three of them are expected to go the distance. Plus 275, plus 140, plus 120 to finish. Let's start off with the second most likely fight to go the distance on the card, but also the second biggest favorite on the card. And she has taken money since Tuesday. We have Fang taking on Ming. Again, I'm not doing the whole names. Fang's the favorite. Ming's the dog. Minus 410 for Fang. Plus 310 for Ming. Plus 275 for this fight to finish. Fang plus 350 inside the distance. Ming plus 700. So I'll throw it to you. Obviously, you don't like this fight. 2-star. I am in agreement. You have all of it on the Fang side. I'm in agreement as well. I am fading Ming in 20 and below. But I really don't know how much Fang I even want. She's 9,200. She has to do something. bet inside the distance prop at plus 350. I definitely would much prefer Peter Yan. But of course, if she somehow outscores Yan to the world, that's when you can get solo shippers. She is definitely a pivot in the upper tier. How do you see this fight going down?
Yeah, I like Fang. She's like 22 years old. I thought she looked pretty good already, and I just expect her to improve each time out. Ming didn't really look good anywhere. I didn't see enough of her to see where she looked good anyways. I feel like she was even losing a lot of the fights that I saw. I'm going to X Ming out of my lineups. Even with 150, I think I'm just going to X her out. But Fang, I don't know what her ownership's going to be like, but I feel like she's someone I could see me being over the field on. She can throw out decent volume. She's the one I expect to be marching forward. She could get a TKO. But I like when she mixes in her wrestling, and I think she is going to get if she wants to fight to the ground, I think she's going to get it there. And I think she could probably dominate the fight and maybe get a ground and pound finish or a submission at some point. So I like Fang. I will get exposure to her. But Ming is just a full X out for me. Yeah, even 150 lineup's not going to have any.
I'm with you. If I had 150, which I probably won't have, they lowered the contest a little bit this week, but I might have 100 teams. I'm not going to play any of Ming either. She beats me, she beats me. I still don't think I'm going to have a ton of Fang, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Fang's like 25% owned. Something like that. She's the second biggest favorite on the card. How much wrestling upside do you think she has in this one? Or do you think she just keeps it on the feet?
I would imagine she goes for at least a takedown. I would say 1.5 takedowns if we're setting a prop.
All right. I like it. Yeah, that definitely adds more interest for sure. And I pivot in the upper tier. No doubt about that. That is the first of 3 Road to UFC fights. Getting to this next one right here. Dong Hoon Choi taking on Sahota. We have a straight up pick 'em, homie, as the kids like to say. Minus 110 apiece on both sides. Plus 140 for this fight to finish. Both guys the same inside the distance prop at plus 305. So looking at yours, you have it a 2-star. Good. I like it. I'm fading Choy. I'm putting a little Hernandez ownership. I'm fading Choy in 20 teams and below. I will play some Sahota. Again, a minus 110, and you get a $600 savings. I do think it's just pretty much on the feet, though, and it probably goes to decision. So I don't like this fight. I want to be underweight. I do prefer the 600 savings with Sahota, unless you talk me into Choy, which based on your rankings, I don't think you will. I'm going to now fade him in 20 and below.
Yeah. This is that tall guy, Sahota.
Yeah. Sahota's the 5-inch reach advantage.
Okay,
Both, Yep.
Yeah, he was my pick in this one because I wasn't super impressed with either side. But I did think that his height and reach advantage could come into play, especially if this is a striking match. I just have no lean in this one, so it's another one where it's like give me the plus money if I had to bet it type of way, but I didn't see enough to be super impressed with either side. I'm not going to X either one of them out of my pool just because I don't really know too much about them. But I was a little bit more impressed with the Sahota side. I think he can use that length and take 2 rounds on the cards, but that's probably not going to do us any good on DraftKings. So mostly going to be a fade for me, but I'll keep a little bit in there just in case.
Makes sense. Right now I'm going to fade Choy, but if I see line movement, again, any late steam stuff like that, if the under gets hit, maybe that'll change. And again, all of the content will be up tomorrow. Projections, ownership, slate plan, everything, SHIPIT Nation. You do want to get in the Discord, though. Again, that's where I tagged everyone. 4 minutes is all the time we had. Get in the Discord. If you do play as well, have MMA notifications on in our Discord. Instead of like you get blown up from PGA, NASCAR, baseball, etc. If you play the sports, you turn on the notifications. If you don't, you won't get blown up with that. So no better spot to be. Again, scroll up, shipitnation.com, join the nation, weekly, monthly, annual packages, Shiptimizer included as well, our own optimizer. No better time to join. Look at that. NFL's going, college football is going, NBA's going, NHL's going, MMA's going. No better time to head over. Thanksgiving next week, big boy football slates. Can't wait for that, Big Marley. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the card. 4-star right here. Again, this is the last of the road to UFC fights. 4 stars good, and I agree with you. We got you taking on Bear. That's how I'm going to say. Again, that's not right, but you taking on Bear makes it very easy. we have you minus 163, Bear plus 143, plus 145 for this fight to finish. Both guys, again, the same inside the distance prop, this time plus 285. What stands out to me in this one, Big Marley, the first of all, Bear, 3 inches in height, 5-inch reach advantage. Mainly what stands out, you, 6 takedowns. That is only a 2-fight road to UFC sample, 8 takedowns in 1. But this dude looks to chain wrestle for days. Not even the best control. 2 minutes and 40 seconds of control time and 8 takedowns. Not great, but that's a DFS dream right there. Bear has some takedowns too, 1.9. Another thing I love to see, both guys' submission prop is better than their KO prop. So everything I'm seeing, this fight's going to play out on the mat quite a bit. That's great for DFS. Priced right in the mid-tier. All the fights in the mid-tier are expected to go the distance. This is my favorite in the mid-tier. One of my favorite fights on the card at price and ownership. How do you see this fight? Take it away.
Yeah, I think this is a good fight to target because you is primarily a grappler. Like it looks like he's just always shooting for a takedown at some point. He wants to be in top control. When he gets it there, he's pretty decent. I mean, he's not great. That's why he's able to get like 6 or 8 takedowns. It's because eventually the guy gets up. But I mean, while he's in top control, he looks like he knows what he's doing at least. But that's what he's going to have to do to win. I think that's all he's really good at. And then Bear Gang, I think Bear Gang's decent on the ground too. He could submit him. He could get takedowns of his own. I think he's a lot quicker on the feet, the better overall striker, more dangerous on the feet. So I'm going to prefer the underdog in this one. Both of them have high ceilings, though, in my opinion. So it's closer to a 5-star than a 3-star, probably. But it's all because that U side just wants to grapple at all times. So I'm hoping that Bear Gang beats him to the punch and he beats him at his own game. But I'll get exposure to both sides of this fight.
Yeah, I don't have if I had to pick a preferred side, it's you. Again, the main reason for that, Tuesday, minus 145 was you. Now he's minus 163. He actually opened minus 130. So line movement on the U side. I love all the takedowns. But at the end of the day, I want a lot of both. If I had more Bear, I'd be fine. And what I love about the Bear side, $400 price difference. You can always leave 400 plus on any team. Eliminate Stoops that way. Didn't pull up Parabai's comment. We appreciate you, Parabai. Probably in the NBA Discord right now, grinding. OG. Always love to see Parabai. Let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card. Again, 13 to talk about, 3 a.m. Eastern in China. So definitely set an alarm. Our content will be up tomorrow afternoon. I will definitely be building on Friday. Next fight, Ming Zang taking on Osman Diaz. We have Ozzy Diaz. Yeah, I don't know why Fight Odds had that. I thought it was wrong. Ozzy Diaz. Minus 325 is Zang. Plus 275 is Diaz. Minus 700 for this fight to finish. We have Zang minus 275 inside the distance. Diaz plus 375. So you look at it. Minus 600 on Tuesday. Now it's minus 700 to finish. Minus 305 Zang. Now minus 325. Minus 275 for him to finish this fight in a tier of his own, no doubt about it when it comes to that. Under 1.5, minus 260. Round 1 props in this one. Zang plus 125. Diaz plus 550. I mean, I don't really know what more needs to be said than great fight to target. I'll have a bunch. You have it as a 5-star, and I could not agree more with your rankings. So take it away.
Yeah, someone's probably getting finished in this one. These guys have 34 combined pro fights. 33 of them have ended inside the distance. I thought that Zang just looked like the better overall striker, cleaner overall, more dangerous. I actually got plus money on Joe Pyfer over Ozzy Diaz, though. So, I mean, that's kind of respect that they were giving him. Yeah. It was like a very slight favorite over Joe Pyfer. So, I mean, that's respect right there if you want to go on that. I do think it's kind of close, like skill-wise. So, with that gap in the line, I'm not against going down to Ozzy Diaz, but Ming Yang is my pick. I'm going to pick him to get the knockout. Just not as much confidence as Vegas has, I guess, at this point. So this one, I'm not going to make a rule to be all in, but this is probably one I want in like 80% of my lineups. Just go hard on this one. Expect or hope for the early knockout, but give me Zang to get it.
I like it. I absolutely like it. I'm going to have a bunch of it. Zang is still my preferred play, though, because I think enough dogs on this card and where we're looking at ownership, it's spread out enough. Give me the guy that's minus 275 to finish this fight. He looks to be the better striker. He will be higher owned. Diaz is great leverage that way, and I will have some with a big, with his big ceiling. But I mean, if Zang, what do we have him at right now? We have him at 35%. Give me 45%. Give me 55%. Like, he's got a bunch of upside.
Yeah, I think I'm going to up him and lower Hernandez a little bit ownership wise, though.
I agree with you. Again, everything will be up tomorrow, so that's the benefit of being a member. Projections will be up as always. If anything changes, we always let everybody know in Discord. Keep it rolling. I'm excited for this fight. Carlos Alberg, I know these names, taking on Volkan Oezdemir, minus 240. Alberg, plus 205 is Oezdemir, minus 190 for this fight to finish, so 1 of 4 fights. Alberg, minus 110 to finish. Oezdemir, plus 375. Too fast, too powerful is Carlos Alberg. I think he knocks out Volkan. The thing is, with all that being said, I still don't know how much I love Carlos Alberg. And yeah, you have it the exact same. 4-star, all Carlos Alberg. I was going to pick Alberg against my guy Sweet Dreams. I think if Pereira beats Ankalaev, I think in the fight I want to see most is Pereira Alberg. He's a great kickboxer. One of Izzy's guys, powerful, can stay composed, hits like a truck. How he blitzes in and out, like his speed is crazy. Light kicks are good. I mean, yeah, I think Carlos Alberg knocks out Volkan. I think the speed difference is too much. The thing is, though, even a second round Alberg KO might not be enough. I think we need 110, etc. We got Peter Yan, 100 more than Alberg. Zang, who we just talked about, 200 more. We need a good score. Last thing I want to mention about those scores, and I'll throw it to you. For Carlos Alberg, his first round finishes 106, 106, 105, and 97. And then when he did get the first minute bonus, he got 106, 106, 105 for normal first round knockouts, 128 when he got the bonus, and 97 for a third round finish. I don't know if 106, 106, 105, and 97 is enough. And he got a first round knockout in 3 of those. So yeah, that's my only concern. Take this one away.
I would say give me 106 at that price. I'm heavy on it. But yeah, I like Alberg here. I mean, he should be undefeated. I don't know how Kennedy and Chukwu survived that onslaught.
Crazy. But I think it was the best thing that could have happened to his career.
Yeah. Unless he could have just walked through everybody that way. That would have been sick.
Well, yeah, I don't. Eventually someone wakes you up.
But yeah, I think he's dangerous, man. He's a much better overall striker. He's a lot more dangerous. We've seen him work on his ground game as well. I don't know that even Volkan is better at wrestling at this point. Volkan's got knockout power too, but I don't think he can hang with Alberg in a 3-round striking match, especially if Alberg's actually throwing volume. This is almost Alberg or pass for me.
I agree.
Thinking that the field's going to be a little bit higher than I want to be on Volkan. So I'll let him have him, and I'll get me some Alberg. Maybe I'll get some leverage. I won't be too far underweight. I don't know how much leverage I'll get, but he's somebody I'm definitely interested in.
I agree. I mean, I think minus 240 is too short, and I don't say that very often. I mean, I think Alberg walks him. Parlay piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone's going to clip this and I'm going to look like a donkey, that's MMA. But, I mean, I love Alberg at this price, and I really don't say that about many minus 240 favorites in MMA.
Same. Yeah, I might play it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you. I'm actually very well might hit as well. I'm not even parlay, just a couple unit play on a big money line and a Jake Paul type thing. Shout out to you, Big Marley, though. Jake Paul collected us some big boy bucks.
That was
awesome. Yeah, yes, it was. Jason Turner, what's going on? Ooh, sweating first place for NHL. Great stuff. He used the stone. Hey, I'll show the people real quick. Then we'll get back to MMA. NHL, the stone. This is what our man Jason Turner used. This is what we have at Chip Nation, the stone for all sports. How many games do we have today? 2, 3, 4. Big boy slates. Look at that. Nothing better. Everything's confirmed. Hockey, it's just like baseball. If you like baseball and correlation, it shows their color scheme. Nothing better. The stone is the nuts for NHL. The line, you want to stack lines because you get assists, goals, power play lines, shots on goal, projection, ownership. Man, that is a beauty looking at the NHL stone. Total spreads, good stuff. Jason, good luck to you there. Shout out our man Nades, runs the NHL department.
Hell yeah. I'm going to have to play some NHL sometime.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely we don't have Shiptimizer over here for it. So, but like if you have Solver or you want a hand build, but it's clear like baseball, 5-2-1 stacking stuff. You just stack teams, you stack lines because when they score again, you can get multiple points from different guys in one outcome. So it's really easy that way. Not much mental thought. Whereas NBA is, someone asked me yesterday, it's like there is no correlation. You pick the best value, the best guys. You hope they do well. Like there's no quarterback to a receiver and a run back, stuff like that. Hockey, there is set rules. So yeah, get in the Discord. I'm sure Kim, Big Nades, all them would like to help you out if anyone wants to dabble. Let's get back to talking fights. Our woman, Wang Quang, is the biggest favorite on the card. It was minus 800, now minus 900. Taking on Gabriel Fernandez, plus 115 for this fight to finish. We have Wang plus 130, Fernandez plus 900. I will not play Gabriel Fernandez with 5,000 teams. Wang, interesting. I'll play some. Big boy strikes per minute, big boy takedown per 15. I will say that is a small UFC sample. But, man, did she make a statement, her UFC debut, under a minute knockout. Or, no, was it a minute, 2 seconds? I believe minute 2. I think she just missed it. But showed some power for the division. I'll throw it to you. How much does she grapple or wrestle, I should say? Do you think she just strikes?
No, I think she just strikes. She's primarily a striker from what I've seen. I would actually say if anyone wrestles in this one, it's Fernandez. But she is a striker too. So this should be a striking match. Both of them getting what they want. But Quang just looks like the better and more dangerous striker. So that's why I think Fernandez could shoot just because she's not winning the striking game. But Kong's going to need a finish at 9,600. Man, that's a big time price tag. And I just don't think volume's going to be there for her to even get like a third round knockout and be enough. So I'm guessing I'm going to go underweight to Quang. I definitely don't want Fernandez either, but I have thought about I'm okay using her at 6,600 if that gets me everything else I like on the card, because I could see her even losing a decision and scoring like 35 points, and maybe that cuts it on this card. And I also think she's live to win that decision if it does go the distance. So throw on 30 points. Now we're sitting at 65. I don't know that she has much more than 10x ceiling, but I don't know that we need it at that price tag. So I'm going to keep her in like a max of 10%. I'd prefer closer to 5 though.
That makes sense. I'm not playing Fernandez. I'll play some Wang Quang. Do I love it? No, because of the price tag. For Peter Yan, prefer Alberg savings, prefer Mahate, prefer Zang. So how much do I get? I don't know, but I do think her ownership's definitely in check. And it's not like, yeah, you're confident she doesn't wrestle. So I will say that does lower my interest a little bit. Let's keep it rolling. 3 fights left on the card. Some old guys going at it. 40-year-old Muslim Salikov taking on Song Canan. Looking at the odds in this one, minus 175 is Salikov, plus 150 is Song, minus 110 for this fight to finish. We have plus 190 on the Salikov side, plus 325 on the Song Canan side. I want to shout out Cloud. Appreciate you hanging out. He said, fade the old guy that just lost to Pons his last fight. If you know, you know. My guess is what he's saying is fade Salikov because he won against Ponzinibbio, split decision. Yeah, he got taken down twice. Striking was close. We've seen worse robberies. I agree, though. Salikov, I think, is more round one or bust, and I prefer the Song Canan side for that reason. Low volume. I don't think he's really taken down Song Canan. You let me know if you do think so. I don't know if he has the cardio to do that for 15 minutes, but I see striker versus striker. Salikov more kicks. Song Canan more boxing. Minus 110 for it to finish, though. So talk to me.
Yeah, Salikov definitely first rounder knockout or bust. He's low volume. Like he has maybe 2 takedowns in his game, I'd say. Give me the under on even 1.5. Because I think Song Kanan's the better grappler. I also think Song Kanan's live to land a couple of his own takedowns here. I think Kanan's the better, not better, but just the higher volume striker. And both guys are alive for a knockout. So at that price, for sure, give me Song Canan as my preferred play. I'm probably not going to play any Salikov at $8,500. If he gets the first round knockout, it's going to burn me. But 20 or less, I'm not playing him. 150, I'll keep him in my player pool, but give me like 10%, something like that. I think this should be closer to pick him. Give me Song Canan to win.
Yeah, well, let's see. Plus 450 in round 1 is Salikov. That's 18%. I think 18% would be a solid number then. And I think 18%, honestly, might be overweight. And we do have that as overweight. So that's how I look at it.
I don't even want 18%, to be honest. Give me I don't even want 15% Salikov. I'll max him out.
If I told you got a first round knockout, you wouldn't want 15%?
If you told me he was going to get that, but he hadn't had that since like 2019, I want to say.
For sure. I'm just going based on literally, you got me into this more than anyone, is just going odds, plugging in the converter, and then just being like comparing it to ownership. And like a first round knockout is 18%. And if he's going to be low, like, so I get it though. Like my brain, my dome is telling me that same thing, but he is dangerous early.
Play,
I mean, you use him in chalkier lineups. And again, there's very solid $0 lineups, like leaving $0 this week. So I wouldn't worry about that. How about, so you prefer Choy for 100 less than Salikov, and you prefer Hernandez for 100 more? Because to be honest, I don't like any of these three, but that's kind of like what I'm deciding. Like, who's going to be the fade? Who am I going to get a little bit of? But yeah, how would you rank those three? 86, 85, 8,400.
Shit, yeah. I want to fade all three of them.
It's gross.
I'm probably not going to get too much exposure to those three. I would say for the unknowns, give me Choy first. Oh, man.
Mine's Hernandez, Salikov, Choy, I think, but I don't know. Hernandez.
Yeah, I'm honestly going to fade all three. Fuck them.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not using any of them.
There you go. I love to hear it. It's 2 fights left on the card again. All we ask from you guys, like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. 3 a.m. Eastern time. The UFC is headed to China. Get your tournaments in. And gross. Yeah, gross is right. Get those lineups in Friday. Everything will be up. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Co-main event time, the women's division. Most likely fight to go the distance on the card. Janan taking on Tabitha Richi. Minus 190 is Jan. Plus 165 is Richi. This fight is plus 275 to finish. Jan plus 400 inside the distance. Richi plus 600. What I'll say right here, I don't like Jan either. Like, I don't even know. I'll throw Jan in that same Muslim, like the same category. 8,800, so she's more expensive than all of them. Worse inside the distance prop by double than Salikov. She's plus 400. What she does have going for her is she's a very good striker, and it's clearly striker versus wrestler, and she has solid volume, but she's never scored more than 90. She did score 90 once, but never more than 90 in a decision win. And when she scored 90, she still landed 150 significant strikes. Like plus 400, like that'd be the most I'd want. And again, 20%, then you got to, I don't even know if that's enough. Like I don't want 20% Jan. I do know that because I don't know if round 3 is good enough or whatever it may be. At the end of the day, I think I have Jan maybe the last of all of them because of her price. And she can spend a whole round off her back or something, fighting off takedowns and land a shot in the second round. And that's still not enough. So yeah, I'm fading Jan. I'm playing Richi just because her style fits so well in a win. But my pick is Jan by decision because I think she outpoints, she outstrikes, she hurts Richi, but Richi can survive. So I just took that a million ways. But hey, you can have your own real life thoughts on a fight, and DFS wise can be a little different. And that's what we play here, a salary based game. How do you see this fight going down?
Yeah, I basically just agree with everything that you said. I'm picking Jan to win because I think she's the better overall striker, going to keep it on the feet for the most part. But I'm just not interested in $8,800 because if she's not getting a knockdown, she's probably just not going to have high enough volume to get there. And she probably does spend a little bit of time on her back. My preferred play is going to be Richi because if Richi wins, there will be wrestling involved. It could be multiple takedowns. It could be domination and top control. And she has some striking too. She can land some strikes along the way. So Richi is my preferred play of the two, even though I'm picking her to lose. But yeah, it's another one where Jan's in that group. I'm fine getting rid of all of them. Let's use the underdogs in those 4 fights and then mix in these higher priced favorites.
I like it. I'll be doing a lot of that as well. The fight I always can never get out of my head is the Carla Esparza Jan fight.
Yeah.
I bet way too much on Jan, and I had 0 chance the whole way. And it was absolutely milk centers, like domination, literally domination on the mats. Second round finish, bloody elbows, crucifix. Carla did whatever she wanted. Don't think Tabitha's that level of wrestling. I do think she's a better grappler, it's 2021. Jan is she worked on her takedown defense and defensive wrestling a lot. We saw it in the Dern fights. But Whaley still took her down plenty of times last fight. So, yep, that's my thoughts on that one. No Jan. Give us Richi as the favorite, or as our preferred play as the underdog. Main event time, Big Marley. Great work as always. Curious to hear your take on this one. You have 5 stars, but you have the stars relatively close. Peter Yan taking on Davison Figueiredo. Minus 310 is Yan. Plus 260 is Figueiredo. Plus 120 for this fight to finish. Yan plus 175 inside the distance. Figgy plus 515. My question to you right away, are you going to make a rule to have 100% of this fight? If so, why? If so, why not? And then how are you going to approach this fight for DFS?
No, I'm not going to make a rule. I could see just other people in Jan's range outscoring him. So not going to make a rule, but I'm going to be high on Jan. Like, give me Jan over all those people that we just mentioned that we don't want to play. Like, yeah, that'll up my exposure to Jan. I'll get more Fang for that reason too. But Jan will be one of my highest owned guys on the entire card. I just think he's a little bit better everywhere. I like the pace that he pushes on the feet. I think he's a better striker. And he can go hard for 5 rounds too. He can mix in takedowns if he wants to. The only real edge I'd give to Figueiredo is he's the better or more dangerous grappler. But he is live to win in a 5-round matchup. So I want Figgy exposure too. The way I see it in my head is something like 65% Jan, 25% Figueiredo, something like that. 70-25, something along those lines. But give me Jan to win 4 rounds and take it on the cards.
Yeah, I can't add anything more. I think it's probably 49-46, something like that. Jan, you give Figgy rounds 1 or 2 when he's most fresh. Maybe gets takedowns, sub-control time. Jan always notorious slow starter. He gets reads, turns it on as the fight goes. And yeah, our ownership right now, we have Jan 47, Figgy 41. Let's just say I think it's something like 52-37. I still want something like 67% Jan, 25% Figgy. I totally agree. I think Jan, his volume advantage, he can turn it on. Jan right there. And again, I do see Big Marley making some changes with ownership. Everything. That's why we talked through the show. Everything will be up tomorrow. I want overweight to Jan, even though I think he's the highest on the slate and maybe is the only one above 50. I still want more. He has so many pass. There's plenty of ways to get difference. Figgy, I think, will be over-owned because he's a dog in the main event and a big name. So I want to be under him. But any win of his is almost always optimal. So it's not like I want to fade. So I play a lot of teams, balance my portfolio. Then this fight will be, again, we have it about 90% combined ownership. I want a small percentage of a fade because if Jan wins a decision, but Zang outscores, Alberg outscores, Hernandez, whatever it may be, and 103 isn't enough, well, tons of lineups are dead. You're playing against very few for a lot of cheese. I can see that happening. Big Marley also could see that. So I'm not making a rule on any of these fights. And you and I were in agreement on a lot of this card. And we listed that like 8-4, 8-5, 8-6. Like there's a lot of dead spots that we think you can avoid. I'm going to be avoiding those big boy dogs. And I hope to get the right combo from there, Big Marley. I feel good going into this one. Any final thoughts on this card? And great work as always.
Yeah, I don't feel good, but I have an alarm set to just check for any late cancellations, any Discord tweets from Title, thanks to Siggy. Who knows, that actually could have been the reason I took down the qualifier last week, because, I mean, I was heavy on Tybura, but I global swapped Anders to Tybura. So that could have been why I won. I don't know.
You never know. I mean, it definitely didn't hurt. It also helped min cash value. I saw a lot of people in there thinking, again, I didn't even get it. A lot of people didn't get it as well. It was 4 minutes. I'm not trying to take credit again. It was all Siggy, but 4 minutes, you can still have room to global swap. If you're on your computer, you can make that work. And that was, I think, like 35% of the field. Like, those are those little edges that you can get. And it's all the sports. NBA, Rio's doing it all the time. NFL, Tambo's doing it all the time. We're in there tagging people. No better spot to go SHIPIT Nation again. We're talking NHL. Jason on the show, SHIPITNation.com. Join the nation right here. Check out all of our packages. Again, all of them do include Discord, except weekly Shiptimizer upgrades as well. Would love to see it in there. Great stuff as always, Big Marley. Again, 3 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. Set your alarm. Do your lineups on Friday. If you're not going to watch it, hopefully you wake up with a little more cheese in your pocket. I will be up watching it. I know plenty of you guys will be as well. Stay safe out there. Let's make some money this weekend. Good stuff as always, Big Marley. For Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Peace. Be safe.